Shout out to Cats Pod.
A good defensive play for Montana State.
Touchdown, Tommy Milan is electrifying.
Welcome to the Cats Pod. What's up, Podcats? Here we are again. Happy Brawl Week, everybody. 123rd, 1, 2, 3, Brawl of the Wild coming up. Definitely didn't have to look that up directly before we started this podcast. Definitely didn't have to do it. You're joined by me and Eric as always, but we have a very special guest today from behind enemy lines. I'm doing the Trump hands for some reason. I have no idea why, but the illustrious, the coach, Brad Armour. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. No.
You can't start off like that.
No.
All right. How you feeling this week, Brad?
As a Griz fan, as you always do with these games, you never know what's going to happen. You're hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is a rivalry.
You need magic.
Yeah. Anything can happen. Eric, how you feeling about it?
I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
This week is just dragging by, and it's cold, so it's really taken a while to get through this one.
It's the slowest week of all time. Like, we crawled to Wednesday. I don't know how it took this long for Wednesday to show up, but it is not a good sign for the rest of the week. But at least we have what should be a pretty awesome game to look forward to. Cat Griz Week is like Christmas for all of Montana. So, very excited for it.
It's funny because if you get on social media, all the non-Cat Griz fans are all complaining about Cat Griz fans.
Yeah.
Ribbing each other. And it's like, come on, guys. We wait all year for this one game. Like, it's the only game that really matters. I mean, of course, if you make it far into the playoffs and the championship, that's fun. But Cat Griz is the bragging rights.
Oh, yeah. 100% for the state of Montana.
Yeah.
There's generally at least a respect for the other 364 days. You know, but it's the one day a year where we could finally just look at each other and just start swinging.
Just start screaming at each other.
Yeah, no remorse.
We just get to get pissed. That's all we do this week.
We get allowed to take it out on each other.
Yeah.
And also, at least we have the brag that we are the premier rivalry in FCS.
Yes.
Even though the Dakota marker was 1 versus 2, nobody really cared about the Dakota marker. Like, let's be real. And the Dakota marker wishes that it was the Brawl of the Wild. Like, it sits in bed at night and wishes that it was the Brawl of the Wild. That's why NDSU and SDSU are pissed.
And it's the fact that it's gone on for so long. I mean, there isn't much that can rival it.
No.
Honestly. It is one of the oldest. And
it's, I think, the second oldest in the western, or the oldest in the western half of the United States.
Yeah. So
I think it is for sure. There's some in the East because like football started at like Harvard and Princeton that are a little bit older, but that's about it. Also, back in those days, they called it Bloody Tuesdays between Princeton and Harvard, and it was named Bloody Tuesdays for a reason. So those rich kids, they really knew how to swing. I can tell you that.
Did.
Yeah. There's a reason football became illegal for like 4 years.
Which was ironically started by the president at the time.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So, Brad, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What's with the quarterback carousel in Missoula?
Dude, you got me. I don't know. I thought for sure the latest by the fourth game, it's like, all right, we're gonna stick with the one quarterback. It doesn't even matter really who it is at this point.
Yeah.
Just you got to stick with somebody. That's how you can get an offensive identity finally.
The weird thing is that Logan Fife looks good.
He does.
Like, I feel
really
like
does.
I'd have to look at the side-by-side stats, but I feel like he is almost far and away the better player right now, at least as far as it looks on the field.
As far as like watching him play, Logan Fife is better. I also noticed, though, that when they rotate the quarterbacks, they go to two totally different offensive systems.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of blows my mind that you're willing to, A, go two quarterback, but B, have two completely different offensive systems for each quarterback.
Yeah.
And you're continued throughout the whole game to where you can't build momentum, you can't build energy, you can't build anything because you're constantly switching.
Oh, yeah. And even when you look at the stats, it makes it even more apparent. I mean, Logan Fife has a 155 passer rating, 66% of his completion, or 66% completion rate, and then he has double the yards of Ayat. He has 1,600 yards this season compared to 872.
Yeah, I do think Fife is the better quarterback, but Ayat also missed some time with some injuries too.
Mm-hmm.
And Logan Fife lit it up during those games that Ayat missed. Mm-hmm. I think one of those was Eastern Washington, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I think that was the one where Ayat actually got the concussion and Logan Fife had to come and finish it out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Ayat dove for a touchdown and smacked his head against the ground, and he was out for the rest of that game.
So in your opinion, if Fife doesn't start the game, do the Grizzlies win?
Fife doesn't start the game?
Yeah. Yeah, Griz definitely win. Because it's not just about the quarterback, because you also got to think we have former Jerry Rice Award winner who is top 10 in total touchdowns for the year. We got Nick Osmo, who consistently averages 3.5, 4 yards a carry, getting you first downs and touchdowns every game. And not to mention the fact that they're both pass catchers.
They are.
So they can get –
that's true.
They are hard-nosed runners, and they actually get the ball out in space and do something with it.
Yeah.
That's fair. So you don't think you're confident in the Grizzlies either way, really?
Oh, yeah.
The confidence isn't waning at all? No?
No. Well, I mean, it kind of is, considering you're going up against an undefeated Montana State team who is top 5 in both offense and defense.
Yeah.
They're a damn good team. Win, lose, or draw this one, I think they'll be in the title. I think they'll go to the title contention.
The only thing that really makes any sense to me about this game.
Team.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes any sense to me about this game is just that it's a rivalry, and we really don't know what's going to happen in this game.
We don't. And as a Griz fan, as a Griz person, we are so desperate for just one more win that, I mean, it's happened in Bobcat Stadium before, to where we weren't a good team, but kind of put it to them.
And there's a lot of years like that. Like, there was one year where the Cats were 2-8, and they beat the Griz and Cat Griz, and all of a sudden it was like 2-8 was the best record of all time. You know, we would have taken we took that 3-8 record the same as we take this 11-0 one. It was the same exact thing.
That just goes to how intense the rivalry is, though,
and
how much dedication and heart and soul is poured into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like the weather is going to be pretty terrible,
as it always is in Bozeman.
Yeah. Last I saw said, so maybe midway through the first halftime, somewhere in there, it's supposed to start rain/snowing. So it could be tough to throw a football in Bobcat Stadium on Saturday.
I have a feeling I'm going to be watching that game from Specs, and I'm going to be very glad that I'm watching it from Specs at some point. I'm going to be sitting in there, nice and toasty, warm. I'll have a beer. I'll have some food. Like, I feel like I'm going to really enjoy that rather than paying $500+ to go sit in the stands way up top.
That does sound like a nice deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, regardless of Ben's pessimism, that stadium's going to be rocking.
It will
rocking.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be absolutely packed. Like, you couldn't get more hyped than this Cat team is right now. After last week, even online, like, everybody is being positive about the Bobcats, and it's really weird for me. I can't handle it when everybody's being positive about the Bobcats. It makes bad feelings start creeping up the back of my neck whenever anybody is being this positive about the Bobcats. So it's making it a very stressful week for me, for sure.
It's because it's an interesting position for you to actually be in a point of disappointment
Yeah.
from actually winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Brad, did UC Davis surprise you, or did you think that they were pretty legit coming in?
Oh, they were pretty legit coming in. That offense is a real offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, our offense is at best overall, but I mean, the matchup going into it is our defense versus their offense, and that offense is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
It's really good.
Do you think that'll also be the tale of this Brawl of the Wild? It's kind of the key matchup feels like the Cat offense versus the Griz defense.
See, I think of it as the other way around. That Cat's defense is so lights out that I think in order for the offense has to come out and throw the first punch. Otherwise, I think that's going to be the real key matchup because that defense is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one quick question on the Griz defense. Like, who has to, if you were going to single one guy out, who's got to come through for them? The biggest, most important player.
Offensively, I think it's going to be Nick Osmo. I think Nick Osmo is going to be the guy, the main guy who is going to have the best opportunities for it, and he's a super senior basically, but he's been the heart and soul of that Griz team for 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very much from an emotional standpoint, and it's going to be Nick Osmo running the show, I think.
What about on defense?
Defense, it's got to come down to our linebackers. Linebackers have always been the core of every Griz team. We've always had great linebackers, and so Patrick Wilson, man in the middle, he's got to play. He's got to drop and he's got to stop at the line. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna be the one to have a freak day too.
Yeah, that's fair. I know from a Cat perspective, it's pretty much exactly the same thing. One of our running backs and one of the fill-in linebackers probably got to come through big time for us.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I feel like the big deal for the Cats is the secondary.
Yeah.
Because the majority, like a lot of the talent that I see on the Griz offense is in those wideout spots. Fonts, Keelan White, Junior Bergen, like you have to shut those guys down because especially last week when Fife came in and just started, it seemed like every other play he was going for like 90 yards. I don't know if I wasn't paying enough attention, but it was just, those are the type of plays I feel like you have to stop because like you said, the Griz need to come out with some fire at the beginning of the game. Their offense has got to start off the game quick, and I feel like the main goal for them, they may not go to the ground super early. They might try and start with a couple of runs, but I could see them trying to go to the air very quickly. And I also think that would be a mistake the way Drew Polidor is playing this season. I'm in the mind of Bobby Houck, and that's what I think he's going to do, and he's going to make a mistake.
Well, the beauty thing about our receiving core is there's actually 4 studs on there. Everybody forgets the 4th one, and that's always Sawyer Racanelli.
Oh yeah,
rolling in. He's the one. You can cover everybody else, but it's always that 4th one, and you can only cover 3 up at the most at a time.
Yeah,
truly good coverage. One has to give, and no matter which 3 you pick, you're going to be in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I think that's going to be tested with the Grizzlies is the Cats typically only rush 4, where Portland State was blitzing hardcore. So there was very, very rarely was there any kind of safety help over the top. And those Griz wideouts were able to catch those, those quick slants and take them a long ways.
A lot of that was right in the seams. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that if the Grizzly offensive line can't stop those 4 guys, it could be a really long day for Fife back there, or Ayad if he starts. I'm assuming it's probably going to be Fife. after last week.
Yeah, I'm operating under that assumption too. But I mean, there's still different ways to help pick that up with the running back coming in to help pick up, in case one misses or anything like that. I think the Cats they're gonna keep 4. I don't think they need to blitz.
Yeah,
The way it looked last week, they don't need to blitz.
Yeah. No, they don't need to blitz, but we still work tight end packages in, tight end help, delayed releases, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That can help stifle one of your best defensive ends in the country.
Yeah.
Did they ever release any news on Ayat?
Not that I saw. No, I don't even know. I was at that game last week. I don't even know what his issue. I don't even know what it was, and I haven't seen anything pop up.
They said on the broadcast they thought ankle or something like that.
Probably that would make sense.
I haven't heard anything.
Nah, they're probably doing that on purpose too.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it until Friday night.
Were you surprised with Bobby Hauck's press conference and how, I guess, nice he was about the Bobcats? Usually, he doesn't really name anybody, and boy, did he kind of went above and beyond to kind of give props out. I was really looking forward to some content for some fuel, and he didn't give any.
And that's the genius of Bobby Hauck too. he'll do it about every other team, but he knows how big of a game it is, and Bobby Hauck's not a first timer. He knows the mind games when it comes to that stuff.
He's trying to do the Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain, every time he showed up to town, Bill Russell would take him to dinner, act like he was his best friend, and then he knew that Wilt Chamberlain was not able to play against people if he thought that they were friends. So now he's trying to hope that Vegan's his buddy now, so we'll take it a little bit easy on him. That's what's going on.
I mean, I won't totally rule it out because you never really know. The wine and dine is a real thing.
It is. It is.
But if you look back,
I think he's going to have to pull out some more tricks than that. I don't think that trick is going to be enough. There's going to be a lot more tricks and treats if they're going to win this game.
Oh yeah, there's definitely. But if you look back at Bobby Hauck's previous conversations about the rivalry, he's always kept it so even keel and not given anything whatsoever. Nothing but hey, good on them. They're good guys.
Kind of.
He's always done that. Always done that.
Yeah, he does do that about the team. You're right. He does do that about the team. He does
for Cat Griz, but
he usually talks some trash about the fans, though. He talks some trash about the fans in all these situations.
Yeah. I guess my biggest thing with this whole game is, that for the Cats, this game still means something. We have not locked up 100% of the Big Sky Conference yet. So they have quite a bit to play for still. Where the Grizzlies also do, because they're fighting for a better seed in the playoffs.
Yes.
I was surprised that the Grizzlies came in as low as they did on the rankings this week. I thought they'd be higher.
Where are they at now?
12, I think.
Okay, they pushed them back a couple of spots. Which is surprising since they still won the game against Portland State. I know it wasn't the most impressive win, but they still did finish the game. Actually, the power went out. So, conspiracy theory time. I don't think the end of that game happened. The government shut down.
Well, I was there when the power went out.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people saying they were there. I was there when the power went out. Yeah, sure.
There was exactly 6:46 left on the clock. I watched the stadium lights go out.
And Portland State scored 3 touchdowns that nobody ever heard about.
Montana 9. I was wrong. They moved up one spot from 10 to 9.
Okay.
After the Portland State win.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're ranked 9, fighting for, maybe I would sure guess they'd jump quite a few spots with an upset here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They definitely would. It would secure home field advantage, I think, potentially.
Yeah. so the Cats got the auto bid to the playoffs, and UC Davis has got one locked up. It'd be kind of probably a dogfight between Montana and Idaho for that last seed, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yet.
Well, who does Idaho play?
I don't even know who Idaho plays this
That's
week.
a good
honestly.
question. I've kind of fallen off the Idaho bandwagon here lately. They just can't seem to beat any. I mean, they keep winning, but it's not very good wins. If we're being totally honest, they're close games.
It's never super impressive from week to week, which makes it harder to really believe in them because they looked so dangerous at the beginning of the season. Idaho, when they were beating North Dakota because we thought North Dakota was a legit team, they were beating Wyoming, teams like that, and it was like these guys look legitimately dangerous.
Idaho State.
Yeah. So Idaho
Idaho's
clean up.
All right.
Yeah.
Idaho State got beat by they let Eastern Washington score 77 points on them. So I'm guessing Idaho's probably going to be okay here.
I think Idaho will be all right.
Honestly, no matter what happens, I feel like Idaho, Montana, UC Davis, and the Cats are going to be in the playoffs. I think the real question is still Northern Arizona. Like, if Northern Arizona can pull something off, like they have a matchup with Eastern Washington, which would be a pretty good win for them.
That'd be close.
You know,
and that'd be a pretty close matchup.
They're the next ones up in the Big Sky Conference.
Should we do the pick 'em pod quick?
Yeah, we can do that.
The pick part portion.
Mm-hmm.
So first up, we have Cal Poly at Weber State. Take it away, Ben.
Okay, Cal Poly, Weber State. This is a battle of two not very good teams. You know, this is a real, like, what do these teams even have to play for at this point other than just having a little bit better record than the other team? Cal Poly's probably still getting over having whooping cough, even though we're like 2 months later. That stuff sticks around.
That was Portland State.
Oh, damn. I'm wrong again. I saw that they had one less game on their schedule, and I got confused by it. Okay, my bad. All right. Cal Poly, Weber State. This is a very hard game to pick. I think I'm going to go Cal Poly, honestly.
Ooh, Brad,
Cal
what
Poly.
about you?
I say Cal Poly too.
There we go. Let's go. Ponies.
Let's make it a sweep. I won't pick Weber State for anything except for when they play the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that's about it. And that's a good pick. That's a good pick, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, picking them against the Grizz. Great pick.
For some reason, Weber State's got it.
They do.
Next up, we have Eastern Washington at Northern Arizona. So this is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like this is probably going to be a high-scoring game, and Northern Arizona is going to get it because of home field advantage. 3-point win.
3-point win?
Yeah.
You're saying they just win by 3 points? I am having a hard time with this game because Eastern Washington's offense is so good. They just put up 77 points last week. It is very hard to do that in a college football game. It is very hard to put up 77 points, and they did it.
That, in fact, is 11 touchdowns.
That is 11 touchdowns that they had in that game. Thank you for doing the math for me. You know, that really helps out a lot. Northern Arizona, I feel like they haven't had much of an offense all year. I'm not going to pull up their last 5 or anything like that, but I don't feel like they scored a huge amount of points in any of those wins. Their defense is solid, but they are going to have to stop one of the best offenses in the Big Sky Conference.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this game so tough. The only thing that kind of flips this around is that Northern Arizona is both at home and they're playing for that playoff spot. They need to win this game for that playoff spot, and they're at home. I think I'm going to go Lumberjacks. It's a very tough one for me. Definitely would give no disrespect to somebody for picking Eastern Washington, but Lumberjacks are going to take this one.
Brad?
Well, you ain't going to catch me picking Eastern Washington for anything.
Yeah.
But, I mean, also, try running that style of offense in 7,000 feet.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
You're going to get gassed.
Yeah, that
home field advantage is so real.
Yeah.
You can't not take Northern Arizona.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning. I do think it's going to be a close game. That's why I'm thinking probably 3 points with the home field advantage taking over at the end. So yeah, clean sweep for Northern Arizona. I'll be darned.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. I thought somebody was going to pick them. I definitely thought somebody would make that move.
All right, Ben, you got your speech prepared for this next one?
I think so. I gotta get these boys ready for this weekend.
Northern Colorado at Portland State.
All right, Northern Colorado, everyone is back to looking over you. They are not giving you any respect. The Bears have had a tough season, okay? They had one quality win, very quality win against Weber State. Thank you, Weber State. Dante Sachere, very banged up. Did not look like he was in full form against the Griz. Did not look like he was the Dante that we know so well.
The 2-time player of the week.
Both these teams are not playing for anything right now. We got a 1-10 team versus a 2-8 team. There's nothing left in their season except for just winning this game. Northern Colorado is going to end on a high note. Don't worry, Northern Colorado fans. I'm back. Bear down. Northern Colorado wins.
That wasn't convincing at all, Ben. But
come on! I thought I had you for a second.
Even threw in the bear down.
The bear down.
Yeah. Portland State's a legit team, and they are better than what their record shows. Sachere, hopefully he just didn't look like he was quite something with his ankle. He definitely didn't run. Not like what we're used to seeing that guy doing. 2-time Big Sky Conference player of the week or offensive player of the week. I really have a hard time seeing Northern Colorado doing anything against Portland State. So, yeah, sorry, Ben. Portland State by quite a bit.
We'll remember this. Me and Northern Colorado will remember this.
Are you taking receipts?
Oh, I'm keeping receipts always. I got to do my taxes at the end of the season.
What do you think?
It's going to be Portland State.
Damn.
Portland State.
Couldn't convince anybody.
They're a good team. They're defensively, they are pretty sound. Even with their quarterback as injured as he is, they still have weapons on the outside, and they have a decent running back. I think Portland State just puts it on them.
Yeah.
When I was listening to watching the Portland State Montana game, that Marty Morningweg said that Portland State has the hardest strength of schedule.
Yep.
The number one hardest one.
The number one.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Because the Big Sky Conference.
Yep.
That's really tough.
Yeah, but to still be able to come out with quality wins and losses even.
All two of those quality wins that they got this year. All
More
two
than,
of them.
I mean,
more than your Bears.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I don't even want to bring this game up, but I will for the sake of the Pick'em Pod. UC Davis at the most fraudulent team in the Big Sky. Nay. The FCS.
The FCS, the most
fraudulent team in the FCS.
In the country. More fraudulent than anybody in the FBS even. Come on.
Sac State was ranked in the top 10 to start. They were a preseason top 10 team.
Mm-hmm.
Tons and tons of transfers, highly touted players already there. And injuries or not, this team is trash. Yeah. They are so bad. They couldn't even beat Cal Poly.
Yep.
That's why we all picked Cal Poly this week. Yeah. Sacramento State makes everybody look good.
Yeah. UC Davis has to win this game to sniff the Big Sky Championship or their share of it if the Cats were to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So
what are you talking about, Eric? Why'd you just say that? Do you not believe?
Davis is
because the championship is going to be split. There's no other way about it.
Oh my God! No, now you gave him fuel. You gave him fuel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you said split, so I mean, you're going to be splitting.
You opened up the door.
I said if, but of course it's not on paper, so you can't see the capital I and F on that. So.
There's no if in football.
I can't.
There
spell,
is
so.
if in predictions.
Yeah, there is. No, there isn't.
No, there isn't.
No, there isn't.
Well,
Perfections. There's if in perfection. There is one if in perfection. You know.
Yeah.
You gotta
UC
flip it
Davis
around.
by 28.
UC Davis by 28. That sounds pretty safe to me, honestly.
Yeah.
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 I think UC Davis might be pretty pissed off after last week's game, and they might put a little bit more than that on them.
Yeah, I could see it for sure. Yeah. So Brad, clean sweep on UC Davis on that one.
Yeah. UC Davis, they're gonna roll.
Yeah.
What do you think about Coach Plow's mustache? Are you a fan?
God. No,
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Coach Plow's mustache?
I haven't.
Oh, you got to see this thing. It is downright one of the best mustaches in the league.
There's so many plays on words you could use with his last name.
Oh,
So
yeah.
many.
So many. I mean, that's low-hanging fruit. Like, we're so far above that. We're going to plow right through and go to the next game soon.
I was thinking headline, Coach Plow's wife, and it's just his picture of his wife.
Yeah, that could be it.
He's clean shaven in all the photos.
What? You
He
got to
had a
see this one
mustache
from last night.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that coached the Falcons last year? Arthur
Smith.
Smith. He looks just like Arthur Smith, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fun talk about another man's mustache. I like that.
You feel a little insecure, Eric? You know?
Leave it to Ben to bring something like that up.
Yeah, facial hair. Yeah, so weird.
Next up, we have Idaho at Idaho State.
Is this considered a rivalry game?
I think it's like the
It
potato.
is. Yeah, it is a rivalry game. If it actually is a rivalry, I don't think so. But
Is this
it's gonna
called
be Idaho.
Is this called the potato salad?
It's
It's the
it
potato
has
salad
something to
game.
do with potato.
Yeah.
Yeah. Idaho's. How do you come back from letting somebody put 77 points on you? I don't know. I feel like Idaho State might be beaten into oblivion after that one. I think a pretty safe bet with Idaho here.
Yeah. And they don't get any kind of reprieve this week. They get 77 points put on them, and then all of a sudden, okay, you got to go play against Idaho now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not nice for them either, you know?
They're all hitting the transfer portal already.
Yeah. Half the team is already trying to. The problem is I can't name a single player on Idaho State.
Nope.
Are they getting transfer deals? Like, on a lot of these teams, who's getting transfer deals?
You have to in order to move to Pocatello.
Yeah. I know there's
Okay,
got to be somebody. I don't know.
I can name one. I can't name him, but I know one.
You
He kicked
know
Brody
one.
Greavy in the head.
Yeah, so he's going to
He's
get a deal
he's a
because he
backup
kicked Brody in the
quarterback.
head. Yeah.
He's my mortal enemy.
He's your mortal enemy. Yeah, that's perfect. I don't know.
I've been
It's
sending
like
hate for weeks.
I started thinking about Rohan Jones, and Rohan Jones came out of a Maine team that hasn't done anything. And so just the fact that there was a player that was that athletic and that talented on one of these teams makes me feel like there's got to be some potential for these guys, but it's really hard to find them.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Rohan thing is kind of I think that's a little rare FCS to FCS transfer that does so well. I don't think that happens super often.
Yeah.
But at least I haven't seen many of those. But
No, they're rare.
also not looking too close.
Yeah.
But yeah, well that's all the games on the slate this week.
Yeah. Is it all
not
the games?
A ton,
You know?
not a ton to really, other than the Cat Griz. There's just not much to get excited about.
There's not a whole lot of juice, but there's plenty of juice coming to Bozeman this week, so I don't think there's anything we'll have to worry about.
Yeah. So Brad, I have another question for you.
Okay.
How about that temper tantrum from Logan Fife and Bobby Houck on the sideline?
I mean, those are just two emotional leaders right there trying to back up their team and make sure they have the best opportunity to win.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. I don't know that I've seen one quite like that before. They're were pissed.
That was
really
old
passionate.
School. That was very old school. I feel like you saw a lot of that in the 90s and the early 2000s where coaches were just
hey, that's where Bobby Houck started winning his games.
That is true. And it does fit into my theory that Bobby Houck is like past his prime and has no idea how to coach young kids anymore. But that's just my thought.
That's real interesting. Real interesting to put it that way, considering he's the all-time winningest and still has a playoff team that he's coaching this year.
Yeah, I mean they did hug afterwards, and Houck did fondle Fife a little bit too long, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he did a good game and then a little extra squeeze, and I feel like it was overboard.
When did this alleged squeeze happen?
Okay, you gotta check the tapes then. You gotta check the tapes.
Yeah. Do you think that will have any effect on this week, or is that bygones be bygones totally?
Oh yeah, that's bygones be bygones. Players argue with coaches all the time.
Yeah,
and they move on super quick for it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just they're both in the heat of the moment, wanting to win. Winners are going to do what they have to, and if they have to speak their mind, they got to speak their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's why they cut the powers, because they got into another fight on the sideline?
No fight that I saw. They cut the power because they're like, all right, this game's a blowout. Everybody needs to go home.
Brad is very tight-lipped about this game after the power went out. I just want to say.
I'm answering every question.
Yeah, very short answers. Yep. Definitely no fighting. Hey, no fighting whatsoever. No.
And did you know that 14 points is a blowout now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's two
it
scores.
Is. Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
So, hey, we blew out Eastern Washington.
Oh, hell yeah.
When everyone said it was a close game.
Hey, that means we did too.
Blowouts are all relative. When you're used to beating teams by like 2-3 points, then 14 points is a blowout. But when you're used to beating teams by 40, 16 points is not a blowout. It's all relative. Yeah.
And technically, Brad, you only beat Eastern Washington by 10. Gotcha.
Blowout. Don't matter.
We beat them worse.
We beat them worse. If the transitory property of football has anything to say about this, that means we're 6 points better in that one situation.
Well,
and
if the transitory properties of football hold true, that means Northern Colorado is better than Montana.
That's true, And who are the real Bears in this situation? That's what I got to say.
Yeah.
But the ones who are winning.
Oh yeah. That would check out.
That being said, Northern Colorado got beat pretty bad by the Grizzlies, so I think it was a 24-0 or something.
We'll say 48-0 and agree to.
It was not 48.
Scores don't matter. Wins matter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Scores just.
It was 24-0. I have the stats up right now. There we go. You're just trying to double up the score, get the Griz as many points as you can before this.
It's a win either way. Don't do points even matter?
No, all that matters is that W. That's it. The W next to the
just need the Jameis
Winston
dub.
That's all that matters. Yeah, you got to eat that dub. Eat that dub each and every game.
So, in your opinion, this question is for both of you. Who's a lock to score a touchdown this weekend? A total lock.
Brad, go ahead.
Gilman
a lock.
Ben?
Yep, absolutely. Gilman. He is top 10 in the nation in rushing touchdowns. Every time he gets the ball, he finds the end zone.
Yeah. They do like to give it to him down there inside the 5 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true.
Like, he does eat down there, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he's had some down games, he is creeping up on 1,000 yards for this season. He would have to get, 79 yards in this game to get there. But
It's possible.
honestly, I didn't know that Gilman was having even that kind of season, because I remember looking at a couple stat lines where he had like 30 yards in one game, and he had a couple slow weeks where he was getting out carried by Osmo a lot. And it makes sense to give a lot of carries to the senior in that situation. You're super senior and he's been playing really well, but Gilman still is the leader on this team for rushing yards and touchdowns. So I think that's a pretty safe pick, a complete lock for the Cats in this game to score a touchdown. If we had a better idea of what Scotray was doing, or how Scotray was doing, just because he was kept out of the second half of last game, and I really don't think it's any kind of serious injury, because Vegan made it known that he was just a little banged up to where it wasn't worth putting him back in when you also have Adam Jones and you also have Julius Davis. So I would call him a lock normally, but I think the lock in this game is Tommy. Tommy's going to score a touchdown. He's going to, and I'm not talking a passing touchdown. He's going to score a rushing touchdown in this game just because of the way last year's game went. I think Tommy's going to have a huge chip on his shoulder, and he is going to be looking to put on a showcase in this game this weekend. So Tommy is a complete lock to score a touchdown in this game.
Your argument is my exact argument for Julius Davis.
Okay.
Julius has a chip on his shoulder after last year. He's going to score a touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Guarantee it.
Yeah. Not any hot takes from this little round table of gentlemen here.
No.
We picked the person who has the most touchdowns on the Griz, the most touchdowns on the Cats, potentially. I mean, he's got 21 touchdowns. I don't know how many of those are rushing. I think Scott Ray has more rushing touchdowns, but Tommy has more touchdowns overall. And then Julius Davis, who was super dominant last year and showed last week that he's back, all the way back.
So, next question for both of you. Two-parter. Are you taking the points, Cats minus 12.5, and are you going over under 55.5?
Me? Who are we talking to? Both of us. Brad, you need some time to ruminate on this one?
I do a little bit. That first one.
Okay.
That point spread is kind of iffy.
12.5. I am taking 12.5 points. I'm taking minus 12.5 points.
57.5.
Over under is 57.5. Okay, I'm taking the Bobcats minus 12.5 points just because of the way last year's game went, and the trend of this rivalry has been home teams win and home teams win big. Eventually, this is gonna have to stop. There's gonna be a game where it's close, and there's gonna be a road team that is close. I don't see that happening this week. I look at all the tools on the Bobcats. I look offensively. I look defensively. And I think it's going to be a 14-point win for the Cats. I couldn't see it being a ton more than that, but I do think it's going to be a 14-point win for the Cats at a minimum. Over-under is a very tough one because in these closer games or in these games towards the end of the season, the Cats have leaned more towards running time of possession. Like they ran a lot of time of possession against UC Davis. They just happened to pop 3 or 4 plays for touchdowns on a short field. They had 2 touchdowns on a short field and the one punt return from Taco that are plays you don't really plan for. But outside of that, the game plan I feel like was to control the tempo of the game and keep UC Davis off the field. That is why I have a hard time betting overs with this Cat team this year. I think I'm going under, and I'm going Cats minus 12.5.
Brad, you ready?
Okay. No, 57.5. I'm going under because I think it's going to be a pretty physical ground and pound game. I think time of possession is going to be huge because every possession matters. Mm-hmm. So, definitely the under on that. But I mean, you think the Cats are going to win by 14 points?
Yeah.
You think the Cats are even going to win?
Brad's back, baby.
I'm sorry.
Brad's back.
I'm sorry, but
Watch out, Brad's back.
But you guys have yet to experience true loss this year, and I think it's going to come at this game, and it's going to hit you the hardest.
The reason why we haven't experienced true loss this year is because of the loss that we experienced last year, and the team decided they never want to feel that again. Because after 37-7, we lost in overtime on a blocked extra point. Like, this team lost enough. They know what loss feels like. They are not.
Don't forget about Idaho.
That was bad too. Yeah.
That Idaho game was rough to watch.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I'm still not allowed to watch football games out at the ranch anymore. That was the one time I was invited out there, and I'm no longer allowed because I didn't even say anything wrong. I was just bad luck. That was it.
The one different. The one different than normal.
Mm-hmm.
See, and that's your curse, Ben, because the Griz are going to go back at it.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Because they don't need to feel lost. They don't need it. Why feel losing when all you have to do is win?
Yeah. Solid argument. I don't know how you argue with that, Brad. You're right.
I mean, just win.
Why lose when you have the option to win? Why lose when you can win?
Which is why the Griz are going to win.
Yeah.
Because our standard is winning. We're not happy about it. It's our standard.
Okay. Yeah. Weber State knows about the standard then. Yeah.
I'm telling you, Weber State has some dark magic going on in the background. I don't know what it is, but
it's because you threw pizzas at them. That's what.
Yeah. That doesn't help the situation.
I would have ate that pizza up so much too.
Most players are complaining about snowballs. You go to Washington Grizzly, you got to watch out for a slice.
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah.
Thank you, President.
Cat fans are throwing snow onto the field. Just getting a pepperoni to the side of the head is a little bit different.
Yeah, you got some food on the sideline there.
Yeah. It just has to stick to the side of the helmet so it's still edible. If it hits the ground, you can't eat it. Yeah.
You pick out rubber. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, dude. 3-second rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take the points. And I probably would even creep that up a little bit if I can. If I can get on that point spread and creep that number up a few points, I'll probably do it.
See if Montana Sportsbet gives us the progressive line.
Yeah, I see it's up, but I don't trust Montana Sportsbet to keep it up or anything like that. They'll probably gray it all out when I go to bet on it. So, yeah, I'm gonna take the 12.5 and the under, because I'm pretty sure the weather's going to be trash. It's going to be a run the ball game.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be a ton of scoring to get to 57.5. But yeah.
It's tough to score that many points in like a normal situation game. But when the weather's going off and you've got rain/snow going on, it's going to be very, very hard to throw the football in any of these situations.
Yeah.
Brad, what do you think the key would be for the Griz if they are going to win this game?
If the Griz are going to win, they're gonna stick with the quarterback they started with.
Okay.
They're gonna keep that offensive system in place. They're gonna be consistent, and they're gonna pound the rock.
It's gonna have to be on the ground.
They got to keep those. They got to keep those linemen. Got to be physical. They want to be. We got to let them eat.
Mm-hmm. In general, how do you feel about the offensive line for the Griz this year? Like, they've had some ups and downs. Feels like
they've had ups and downs throughout games. They've also had injury rotations, but I love that offensive line, especially my boy Journey Grimsrud at the right guard. 6'7" monster, big dude, and he just eats people alive.
I mean, the Cats' offensive line has not been any stranger to injuries throughout this season. It's been a pretty rotating line the entire time, and there hasn't been a lot of difference between those different lineups. So the offensive line has been the most consistent part of the team, which is you have to have that if you're going to go 11-0. If you're going to be in this situation, you need to have an offensive line like that.
Yeah. I agree. Offensive lines are kind of the unsung heroes of every team. If for any kind of real success, you got to protect your quarterback, give him some time to do something, open up some holes for some running backs, and the Cats have proven that they can do that pretty consistently. So,
till Saturday.
Okay, Brad, is there any position group on the Griz that you would give an edge over the Cats?
The wide receivers.
Get out of here.
I think the wide receivers.
Woof,
I think the talent of all those wide receivers, I think they're definitely the real deal.
Oh wait, Ty McCullough is calling me right now. He's got some words for you, Brad.
Hey, no disrespect to Ty.
He's got a couple
He's
words.
a great guy. Great guy, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. He's fast, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But one guy doesn't make up your entire wide receiver core.
No, it doesn't. In fact, it does not make up the entire wide receiver core, which is why I'm like, I don't know why you would pick this group to talk about.
Because it's the wide receiver core. They definitely have the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of the wide receivers, it seems like Junior Bergen's production has really fallen off this year. Have you noticed that?
What I've noticed is a lot of teams are keying on Junior Bergen really heavily.
Mm-hmm.
He's their number one focus primarily when that offense goes on the field. So you try to work him in when you can, but with that heavy of a focus, it's hard to get him the touches he normally does.
I think the real question in this situation is, has Taco Dollar surpassed Junior Bergen as the premier returner in the Big Sky Conference?
He's got a better name.
Taco Sauce Dollar passed up Junior Bergen?
I think, Ben, the realism of what this question actually is. And
I know I'm being very real about it.
You can't pass up Junior Bergen. I mean, the dude single-handedly took the team last year all the way into the championship on returns.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's super fair.
Very fair.
And that's just a 4-game span.
Mm-hmm.
You're forgetting about the previous 3 years.
Yeah. But also, you're acting like a true Griz fan, and you are simply talking about the past. When I said, has Taco Dollar surpassed him right now?
No.
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 Nah. Yeah.
Nah, it's hard. You can't really surpass somebody who hasn't really been in the return game the entire year.
Yeah.
I will say this, and this might be the sticking point for why Taco Dollar has passed Junior Bergen right here. Has Junior Bergen caught a pass from a wide receiver for a touchdown?
Yes.
Because Taco has.
Last year they did a few, and I know Keelan White's caught one. I'm pretty sure Aaron Fonts has caught one. I don't know about Junior.
Also, to bring up in this situation, has Junior Bergen thrown a touchdown pass?
Yeah, Junior Bergen threw it to Keelan White against North Dakota State to win to go to the championship.
Okay, yeah, that do be happening. You are right. You are.
That was here. That's not this
that was on my head. That was on my head.
That was on my defender's head. Get good.
No,
he hit me with the damn God, Brad. You didn't have to do me like that.
You didn't ask me with that. I know my things.
He's making it personal now. This is not fun.
Well, Ben, but let's put it this way: this is a typical Griz fan living in the past. He's talking about last year.
Yeah, we're talking about the past as well. We're talking about plays that happened in the past.
This whole thing's been about the past. How has it looked last year when the Cats
We're talking
lost?
about this year. You take it all the way back to last year.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, it's a Cat thing. Convenient to try and change the argument whenever you can.
If you can't win the argument, you got to change the parameters of the argument. That is barroom debate 101. You know.
You guys are going to have a fun sleepover on Monday night when the Cats absolutely drub the Grizzlies.
It'll be really fun because I get to call you up Saturday and Monday to make sure that you know that I'm in your house when the Griz win.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Also, I will be driving to Miles City on Tuesday, so I'll be able to enjoy that as well. You'll be sitting all warm and cozy, and I'll be going to Miles City, which is like a 7-hour drive from Great Falls. It'll be very fun.
Oh, I gotta drive straight back to Missoula.
Oh, okay.
Like early that morning, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do we have any other points on this game? I feel like we've covered a lot of different things, kind of, but haven't really talked about a lot of specifics.
Yeah. Well, all I know is the Cats are cooking right now. It's going to be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a great game to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're a Cat fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah, you guys get to have fun. You know, everybody finds some sort of fun in losing, so.
Yeah. Just coming at us with so who is the tight end for the Griz? I don't even know.
Which one?
Who is it? I don't know any of them.
I don't know. They never use the tight ends all year. 81 and 88.
Okay.
88's the one who scored that touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah. Isn't he one? I'm pretty sure he scored in the Portland State game.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I don't quite remember. I was also I spent a good amount of time in the Garden, just outside the stadium. So
super fair.
Yeah, they weren't scoring the first half anyway.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait for Saturday. It needs to. It needs to hurry up.
Yeah. It has already been a long week, and it's only Wednesday, so that is not a great sign for us. Still 2 more days of work before we get to go enjoy this Brawl of the Wild, and I know that everybody listening is also having the same complaints right now that they are sitting there waiting for this game.
Exactly. Yep. That's all I got.
Alrighty. So, thanks everybody for listening. This has been round 2 of Brawl the Fans. Thank you, Brad, for coming on the show. It takes a lot of guts to go 2v1, and I asked Brad, I was like, if you want to bring somebody else in to help you out for this podcast, and he said, no. Do you think I need somebody else? He told me straight up. He was like, what are you doing right now? You think I need any backup? He's like, I'll beat you both by myself.
Man, I'm the people's champ. I'll take anyone on.
And then he dunked on me one time apparently. So I guess we got that. All right. If you enjoyed listening to this, even if you didn't enjoy listening to this, please rank us 5 stars wherever you are listening to this at. Go ahead and follow us on X and Instagram at CatsPod, and check us out on YouTube at The Cats Pod. Hope everybody has a great week. Looking forward to the 123rd Brawl of the Wild. We will see you guys in Bozeman on Saturday. Hope everybody has a great week.
Adios.
Up with Montana, boys.
Oh,